Let's go. Get up. It's that club, baby. You hear that? We can't sit down to that. Okay.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Sheek Louch, LOXD Block, Silverback. Hey, yo, right now I need to shout out the ISUPK classes.
I want to give a huge, big, humongous shout out to all the UPK schools.
We can't sit down to that.
Shout out to Black Watch, hosted by General Yohana. Word, I need y'all to check out Cross the Line Radio as well, man. They've been open all week from 7 to 9. They ain't shut down because of the corona, the COVID and all that. They rockin' strong, you know what I mean?
Think we got a problem, but really it ain't though. It's one of me and these bitches, I count about 3, 4. Think we got a problem, but homie just all talk. He ain't gon' pop a balloon with a pitchfork. Think we got a problem in the club with this dog. Rude boys, dogs, ladies, everybody.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding trap on my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding trap on my chrome.
Been out of these streets, nigga trying to eat, while I duck police. Own family stealing from me. I'm on the phone being to pray, but white Jesus can't save me. Get him away from me. I don't know what to say. So many niggas hating me. Get him away from me.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding trap on my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding trap on my chrome.
Go and sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding around with my chrome. Go and sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding around with my chrome. Trying to keep it on the true side, nigga. Laying low to play it cool now, nigga. Ass niggas on the team, I've been known to get the green ever since I was 2-5, nigga. Coop hanging out the roof, nah, nigga. Cause I ain't stunting on them. Put my whole team on so they ain't wantin'. When niggas doing bad, you know that they be hating on you. Get the hoping that you fall, they be waiting on it. Bullshit get bread from the envy. Best friends get to looking like enemies. When you got it in this bank account empty. Perfect recipe to brittle out of jealousy. Looking from a bird's eye view. Learn from everything I've been through. Told my baby girl, if you ain't spending life with the nigga, never let him put a dick up in you. Cause if a nigga wrong, I'ma check that shit. And when you paper long, never flex that shit. Told my son, when you getting money, never trick it to a bop and flip it over, then invest that shit. Give a lot of game, trying to bless my kid. Gotta keep it real, that's the best shit. Got hitters up and feel it back in Texas. When I get up on the track, yeah, I wreck shit.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding trap on my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding trap on my chrome.
Go and sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding around with my chrome. Go and sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone, while I'm riding around with my chrome.
Yeah, that's right. It is the ISUPK. That is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of Harlem, New York since 1969 under Commanding General Yohana. We're here to teach the so-called Black, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
We are the descendants of Moses. In case you didn't know that, you know, we have new people that's in class tonight. So you have any questions? Any questions at all? Not right now. All right. So y'all got to excuse me tonight. I'm a little hoarse. You know, we had camp on Saturday. We went out blazing the corner down in Wilmington, downtown Wilmington, Saturday. And then Sunday, I was in Hebrew Academy doing my last training for Hebrew Academy. And that training was heavy, and we was doing a lot of chanting. We was doing a lot of lifting up our voices to the Lord, all right? We were singing what we need to sing to get out of this oppression, all right? It's a lot of things going on in the earth right now. You got Russia and Ukraine. You got a lot of people don't know about this, but you actually have Yemen being bombed just as well. But they're not getting that type of feed on TV because on the news, because those there, you have a seat on this side right here. On this side. Because they're melanated people. And because they're melanated people, you're not going to hear about that. You're only going to hear about what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. All right. And what's interesting about it, every time I watch TV, I say such hypocrites, because when you look at it, just think about it. America did exactly the same thing to us. When you talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, they did that to us. They put us on slave ships and they shipped us to the four corners of the earth. And when we got there, we were given to other people. All right. Salakia, can you get me Deuteronomy 28? I just want to give the people a refreshing, a remembrance in case they have forgotten. I mean, soon we got off those slave ships. You know what they did? Deuteronomy 28 and 32. All right, Kalama Khan just means yes. All right. And one of the problems that we having is inside of the churches is teaching us not to keep the law, statutes, and the commandments. Now, you will actually run into someone and they'll say, no, we are taught to follow the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High God. But then you'll ask them, you'll say, well, when do you go to service? They'll say, well, we go to service on Sunday. So there's a total disconnect from the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. So when we got off those slave ships, this is what happened to us. Read out.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters.
Thy sons and thy daughters. When we got off those ships, we had sons and we had daughters. Read.
Shall be given unto another people.
Shall be given unto another people. Our people was given unto another people. Our people was the ones that was sold off as an auction, right? And give me Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Salakia, 48 and 40. Yeah, start at 48. We're going to go down to 49, down to 50. Read.
32.
You got any more of that?
No.
Read.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
All the day long. We never got them back. Once our people was sold, once we got off those ships, we were sold off. This is why we have a disconnect from our inheritance. This is the reason why we don't understand that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, they're worried about and they're sympathetic towards the Ukrainians, but let's see what they did to us. Read, start at verse 47. Give it to me. Give it to me.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
We will not have the power. We will not have the power to retrieve our people. Once our people was given to another people, our sons and daughters, we did not have the power to do anything about it. Read.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
We're going to have to serve our enemies. Salakia, go up to 47.
Verse 47.
Read.
Because thou servest not the Lord
Because
thy God.
Because what?
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
Because we do not want to follow the scriptures as the scriptures teach. And because of this, therefore he says, read it again.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God
Read.
with joyfulness
Read.
and with gladness of heart
Come on.
for the abundance of all things.
Come on.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
See, we're serving our enemies. We're serving our enemies. Read. I'm going to show you right now. Read.
And hunger.
In what?
And hunger.
When we hungry, who do we go to for our food? We have to go to our oppressors. They are the ones that control the import, the export. Read.
And in thirst.
And in thirst. If you thirsty, you want something to drink. Oh, you want some water? You better pay that water bill. You better go down and see the so-called white man. Because if you don't see the so-called white man, you're going to be thirsty. Read.
And in nakedness.
If you want clothing, I ran into a brother the other day and he told me, oh, well, I make my own clothes. Oh, you do? But who do you get them from? Esau. You get them from the so-called white man. So if you want to be into business with clothing, you will have to go even to the so-called white man. Read.
And in want of all things.
And in what?
And in want of all things.
Listen, if you want to flush your toilet, you got to go to him. If you want to turn your lights on, you got to go to him. We serve our enemy in all things. Before that, we served ourselves. We took care of ourselves. We fought for ourselves. We fed ourselves. We clothed ourselves. We drank ourselves. We went and got our own water. We had wells. We had our own way of life. But now we have to serve our enemy in what?
And in want of all things.
And in all things. Read. How did he do it? Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
This is how he did it. He put us in chains. He put yokes of iron around our necks and chained us in chain gangs. Who on the earth they did this to? Show me. Bring it out. Who you know that they did this to? In a want of all things. And by doing that, they put yokes of iron around our neck. Read.
Until he hath destroyed thee.
Until he what?
Until he hath destroyed thee.
Now, before you go to 49, give me 45.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 45.
Read.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee.
All these curses shall come upon thee. All these curses shall come upon thee. This is what it's saying, because these curses was given and passed down to us because we refuse to follow the Most High's laws, his statutes, and his commandments, right? And it says, and shall pursue thee and shall overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearken not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he command thee. So this is what was told to Moses, and Moses was told this to us when we came out of Egypt. When we came out of Egypt, we was warned. We was told that, listen, if you do not follow the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, he will put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he completely destroy thee, right? Verse 46, read.
And they shall be upon thee.
And they what?
And they shall be upon thee.
Read.
For a sign and for a wonder.
A sign and a wonder. A sign is when if you're looking for something, if you're looking for an address, you look for what? A sign. You look for the sign, the name of the street, then you look for the actual address. That's what a sign is for. A sign is for directions. These signs was put up on us to destroy us, to stay on us until we are completely destroyed. Young man Steve, pick that up. We had Deuteronomy 28 and 46. Hold on. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46.
Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
For a sign and a wonder. Now let's see how long it's going to be up on us. Read.
And upon thee seed forever.
Upon thy seed forever. The seed is the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What's your question?
So, I know earlier you said over the weekend you were doing chants and sort of like different songs. And
Right.
What does that entail?
All right. We have a chant, we have a song that we sing called Babylon is Falling. All right. When we were actually physically on the plantation, this is a song that we sung. And the song is about the Most High coming and causing Babylon, which is America, to crumble, to fall, so that we would be free. But that would take place when Christ returned. When Christ returned, he's going to bring judgment on Babylon. And Babylon is the modern day, what we call today America. All right. It's the land of the north. All right. There's plenty of scriptures to support that. All right. But those are the songs. That's one of the songs that we sing. All right. Anything else? What?
Yeah, and like I know before they read or certain, from what I'm saying, before they read a word, they say certain things. How do you find the meaning of it, and where do you find it? Like, I guess how they refer to you, or how they refer before they read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's say you actually read, you're gonna say you said something before actually reading.
Well, he's calling out the scripture.
Not the name. Before he says Deuteronomy or whatever, there's something.
What did he say? Khan out of one Khan?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
how do you, like,
All right. That's actually okay. That's actually Paleo Hebrew. All right. This is the language that Christ spoke. Christ spoke Hebrew. Moses spoke Hebrew. The Israelites spoke Hebrew. Hebrew is the language that we just speak. So you're just hearing that language. All right. If you want after class, I can give you some literature on that so that you can take a look at it yourself. What's interesting is, and that's a good question, what she was asking is, she was asking, what are we saying when we speak? Before we, when he respond to me, he'll say Khan out of one Khan. All right. He's saying, yes, sir, or yes, Lord. All right. Now, this is biblical language. So it's just done. It's a protocol. It's done out of respect and understanding that he actually has the command, and he's going to follow the command, and he'll read it. What's interesting too is we're the only people on the earth that speaks it. It actually became a dead language. If you look up the 10 Commandments found in New Mexico, those 10 Commandments are dated all the way back to like 1000 BC. That's the language that we speak. When Moses came out of Egypt, that's the language that we spoke. Prior to the flood, everybody spoke it. Then after the flood, we're the only people that kept it. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why when you read in the scriptures in Egypt, they're known as the God of Salakia, the God of the Hebrews. The God of the Hebrews. Hebrew is just a language. All right. So that's what you're hearing when we speak. All right. Got it?
How do you know the definition and like after you know what I mean? Know the word and the definition. Where can you find these things?
Well, it's right in this. It's right in the scriptures. And like I said, after class, I'll show you and give you an example. Get more into detail on that. Now, on Fridays, we actually have a Paleo Hebrew class. All right. So you can actually attend on class online from home, and you can actually get a chance to learn, how to speak it, what it's saying, everything. All right. All right. So give me verse 48.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48.
Read.
Therefore thou shalt serve the enemies which the Lord shall send against thee.
So we're going to serve our enemies who the Lord shall send against us. The Lord did this. The Lord caused this to happen because of our disobedience. It's just like telling a child, saying, hey, listen, I gave this example to my son yesterday. If I tell my son, listen, when you cross the street, don't cross the street in the middle of the street. Go down to the corner. Wait for the light and cross the street. Because if you keep going across the street in the middle of the street, you're going to get hit by a car. All right? That's like what the Most High was telling us. Listen, if you don't follow these laws, these statutes, and these commandments, I'm going to put you on slave ships, and I'm going to ship you to the four corners of the earth. And when you get off that slave ship, your children are going to be given to another people, and you're going to have to serve those people. And it's going to be no might in your hand at all. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, whoever you want to name, could not save us. We thought that it was hope when we as a people elected Barack Obama, but that was like the worst time ever for us, because we were definitely put back in the back burner, and the minority became homosexuality. They're the ones that was lifted up under Obama's regime. All right. So I want to get into the class real quick. I want to get into the class. The class is called What Did Eve Eat? What did Eve eat? All right. Now, I know you want to take a shot at it. Anybody want to take a shot at what Eve ate? See, what'd you say? She said the apple. Where in the Bible does it say an apple? Right, but that's not an apple. Go ahead. Go ahead. She ate another doctrine. That's well said. She took up on another doctrine. You want to take a shot at it? She took on another nation's custom. Well said. All right, but we're going to take a look at it. Now, in order to understand the scriptures, it's a certain way. The Bible teach you how to understand scripture. The Bible teach you through the Most High, by the Spirit of the Most High. It shows you and teach you how to understand the scriptures and how it was delivered. Give me Hosea. Give me similitudes. That's Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. What we do here is we use the Bible for everything. We do not lean to our own understanding. What we do is we rely on the scriptures, and the scriptures will give us understanding on how to understand the scriptures. All right? Read.
Book of Hosea, chapter 12, verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets.
By the who?
By the prophets.
By the prophets. So he said, this is how he spoke by the prophets. Read.
And I have multiplied visions.
Read.
And used similitudes.
And use what?
And used similitudes.
Come on.
By the ministry of the prophets.
So he used similitudes. Those similitudes is like parables. All right. It's like and I always use this. I got a question for you. What's your name? Crystal. Question. If I tell you I ran up on this bull yesterday, caught him sleeping, and took his bread. What am I saying, youngin? I robbed him. That's good. Well said. I robbed him. And when it says I caught him sleeping, what does that mean? Ooh, that bull. Okay. All right. That's right. That's right. But if another nation like the so-called white man, Esau, if he read that, you know what he gonna say? He gonna say, oh, well, look like he caught him laying down in sleep and he took his loaf of bread. Right. Because they see it very literal. Right. All right. That's an example of that similitude. This is how, when you read the scriptures, you have to read it from the Spirit of the Most High. You have to read it from the Spirit of Yahweh Shah, which is known to the world as Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ was a black man. And he spoke with that same type of spirit. And the Most High spoke with that same type of spirit. So as we navigate through the scriptures and we're going to use these similitudes, we're going to allow the Bible to show us what it meant. All right? So go ahead.
So I know you said it wasn't an actual.
All right, I'm about to show you though. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm going to get into all that. I'm going to get into all that. All right? So we're going to get right into it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. Read. Start at verse 1. Make sure it's nice and loud.
Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1.
Read.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made.
Now, when the other nations read this, they'll say, see, now the serpent, and they'll say that the serpent was a snake. Now, we went over this a couple times, so I should be able to get some real good precepts out of this. So when it says the serpent, yo, youngin, I got another question for you. Sit down. When I say that bull was a snake, what do I mean? He's a rat, he's slimy. That's the same thing in this case, and we're going to prove it. So when he says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. So let's figure out, what was the beast? Was the beast an animal? Is LeBron James a beast on the court? He a beast, ain't he? Kobe a beast on the court, ain't he? So let's see what that beast is. Who can give me a similitude, a precept for beast? Who got it? I'm looking for it. Anybody online? Or what? You gotta raise your hand though. Go ahead. A strong present when it says a beast. Yo, give me a similitude. Give me Ecclesiastes 3:18. I want you to give me Ecclesiastes 3:18. And young man Steve, I want you to give me Psalms 73:22. This is how we navigate through the scriptures. We can't be wrong if we use in the Bible to interpret the Bible. Do you agree? All right, come on. Read.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 18.
Read.
I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
Read it again.
I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
Come on.
That God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
Are what?
Are beasts.
You see that? You hear that? Did you hear that? That the sons of man, that they may see that they are beasts. Give me Psalm 73:22.
Book of Psalms, chapter 73, verse 22. So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a beast before thee.
Read it again.
So,
This is Salakia. This is King David, right? Go ahead.
So foolish I was and ignorant, I was a beast before thee.
So he's saying that he was a beast before thee. The reason why he says he was living as a beast is because if you're not following the Most High's laws, statutes, and the commandments, that's how you would be. You would be as a beast. You would be as an animal. You wouldn't be as a son of the Most High God. You got something? Oh, I thought you raised your hand. All right, let's get back to Genesis chapter 3. Read. Take it from the top. Come.
Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1.
Come on.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Come on.
Which the Lord God had made.
Come on.
And he said upon the woman, yea, as God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
All right. So what would be the tree? What would be the tree of the garden? I know y'all got this one, because this one, we went over this just as well. Who got a precept to show when he says, and he said unto the woman, which was Eve, yea, ye had God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. What is every tree of the garden? Is it a tree? I need a precept. If you answer, I need a precept. If you answer, I need a precept. Who got it? I'm gonna go a different angle too, because we're gonna deal with the fruit. Because you asked about the fruit. Give me, you got it, young man Steve? Come on. Ezekiel 31. And then, yeah, give me Ezekiel 31. And then we're going to deal with that fruit. Ezekiel 31. Mutaziala, I want you to read. Give me verse 3. I want you to listen. Read.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 31, verse 3.
Come on.
Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches.
Question. What is Assyrian? What are Assyrians? Are they people or are they trees? It's another nation. Read that again out.
Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches.
So it's making a similitude of the Assyrian people as a tree in Lebanon, because it says, behold, the Assyrians was as a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches. Right? Read.
And with a shadowing shrub and of a high stature.
Come on.
And his top was among the thick boughs.
So this was a mighty nation. This was a mighty nation, and this mighty nation was referred to as a tree in Lebanon. Read.
Verse 4. The waters made him great. The deep set him up on high with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field.
Notice it's saying the waters made him great, but it's referring to a cedar tree, and it's calling the cedar tree Assyrian in Lebanon with fair branches, right? And it says, verse 5.
Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field.
Read.
And his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long, because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth.
Read.
All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young.
Remember, we already showed you what the beast was. Read.
And under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
Dwelt all great who?
Nations.
Dwelt all great nations. I want you to shoot down to verse 8.
Verse 8. The cedar in the garden of God.
The what?
The cedars in the garden.
Take over, young man Steve.
The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him.
So it's saying the cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. Read.
The fig trees were not like his
Bows.
and the chestnut trees were not like the branches.
Read.
Nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him.
So it's saying neither was none of the trees in the garden of God like him. Read.
And his beauty.
Read.
Verse 9. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches.
You did what?
I had made him
Fair.
by the multitude of his branches.
Come on.
So that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him.
So it's saying all the trees in the garden of God envied him. Can a tree envy another tree? No. So it's making the similitude that the trees in the garden were nations. They were nations. The beast was a man. He was the most cunning beast in the field. The field would be the world. All right. Now let's go back to Genesis 3. We're going to get into this fruit. Here it comes. Okay, sit next to her so you can see. You want to use her? All right, go ahead. Now, let's get it. Verse 2. Genesis 3 and 2. Let's get it.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may not eat of the fruit tree of the garden.
So what would be the fruit? What would be the similitude of the fruit? You ever heard of the fruits of the spirit? What would be? It's the same thing. It's certain attributes of a nation, right? But we're going to prove it. Give me Matthew 7 and 15.
Book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 15.
Come on.
Beware of false prophets.
Beware of false prophets. This is what Eve should have been aware of. She should have been aware of false prophets. Read.
Which come to you in sheep's clothing.
That come what?
Which come to you in sheep's clothing.
We see that all the time when we go to the local churches around, right? We see that all the time when we look at these ministries on TV. Creflo Dollar. Like that's a wicked, listen to the name, Creflo Dollar. The name itself is wicked. Go ahead.
But inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Read.
Ye shall know them by their fruit.
You shall what?
Ye shall know them by their fruit.
If anybody is teaching you that you should not follow the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, that right there is a false teacher. That is a false prophet. That is someone that is trying to deceive you and cause you to err. Read.
Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Come on.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit.
So if someone come and tell you not to follow your head, which is your husband, that right there is a false teacher. That is someone that's trying to lead you astray, especially if it's against the if your husband, which was Adam, told Eve that she couldn't eat from this tree, right? And someone came and told her, yeah, you can eat from this tree. That would be considered a false prophet. That would be considered a wolf in sheep clothing. All right. And this is why it says in verse 17, even so, every good tree beareth forth good fruit. So a good tree will bear good fruit. So if someone is telling you to follow the Most High's laws, statutes, and the commandments, what your head has told you, then that right there would be a good tree. But it's telling you something opposite, that's a bad tree. Read.
Now come, a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit.
Read.
Neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
Very interesting. And I'm going to tell you why. When you talk about America's holidays, when you talk about the things that America is teaching us to do, America can never bring forth good fruit. Never. It can never bring forth good fruit, ever. Because it says right here, read that again.
Now come, verse 18. A good cannot bring forth evil fruit.
The law, statutes, and the commandments cannot bring forth evil fruits. It just can't. Because the Most High said that his laws, statutes, and commandments is the truth. And that truth is forever. All right? So it can't bring forth evil fruit. Read.
Neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
So America can never bring forth anything good. Christmas can never bring forth anything good. Birthday parties can never bring forth anything good. Anything outside of the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments cannot bring forth anything good. Read.
Verse 19. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire.
Read.
Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know.
By their fruits you shall know them. So this serpent, this beast, this most cunning snake was trying to tell Eve not to follow her head, not to do what her head had told her.
Right.
So this would be a one that can never bring forth good fruit. And we're going to see. All right. Give me some more. Verse 21.
Verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven.
It's very interesting that he's saying this right behind this. He's saying not everyone that said, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of God. All right. You got a lot of them using this verbiage. You got a lot of them using these words, Lord, Lord. You have a lot. But guess what? They're not going to enter in the kingdom of God. Read.
But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven.
That is very important. Remember, Adam taught Eve. And now here comes a wolf in sheep's clothing, a serpent, the most cunning beast of the field, to teach Eve something completely different, to tempt her with something completely different from what the Most High had commanded her head. All right. Give me that's enough on that. That's enough on that. Let's get back to Genesis 3. Where you leave off at, young man Steve? 3. Go ahead, read it again.
Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 3. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, ye shall die.
Ye shall what?
Ye shall die.
Ye shall die. Ye shall die. Give me Baruch 4:1. Because remember, the Most High had gave the commandments to Adam. Adam taught those commandments to Eve. Now, if Eve was to break those and Adam was to break those, what will happen? The Most High said, the day that you do this, this is the day that thou shalt surely die. This is what he meant by that. Read Baruch 4:1.
Book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1.
Come on.
This is the book of the commandments of God.
This is what?
This is the book of the commandments of God.
Come on.
And the law that endure forever.
The law that endured for
Ever.
how long?
Ever.
No, just for the New Testament.
Ever.
Just for the Old Testament.
Ever.
Just when we, right before the Most High gets here.
Ever.
Forever. Read.
All that keep it shall come to life.
All that keep it shall what?
Come to life.
So if Eve would have kept those laws that her husband had gave her, she would have stayed alive. But according to these scriptures, if she do this, she's going to die. Read.
But such as leave it shall die.
Such that had what?
Leave it shall die.
Such had leave it shall die. So this is the reason why our people are destroyed. To be quite honest, our people hate God.
Right.
Our people hate the Most High God. We just do lip service. We just put on a good show. You know, we do long prayers. We like to stand in the long money line. We like to be seen. We use this. I should have bought a Honda. This tongue. We do these things just for show. This is what we do. We do these things because we really don't love the Most High God. You got anything else on that? That was it? All right, let's go back to Genesis 3. Let's go to verse 4.
Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 4.
Read.
And the serpent said unto the woman,
What did the serpent? The serpent said unto the woman, read.
Ye shall surely die.
Come on.
Sorry. Ye shall not surely die.
Read it again.
And the woman, and the serpent said,
Salakia, read that again.
Verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
So the serpent said the complete opposite of what the scripture said. The scripture said clearly, if you do that and you go from those laws, that day you shall surely die. So this is how you know that this was not a tree that was bearing good fruit. This is how you know this was a wolf in sheep clothing. This is how you know this was completely against the Most High power, because it's saying something completely opposite against the scriptures. Verse 5.
For God does not know that in the day ye eat therefore,
Thou eat thereof. Go ahead.
then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Knowing good and evil. So now let's get into eating it. What does it mean when it says eat this? Whatever it was, let's get into what it was. Let's get into the core of what exactly it was. All right. Now we know in the scriptures, the Most High talks about us eating something. It talks about us eating this word. I eat this word day and night. I meditate on this word day and night. Give me Ezekiel 3, 1 through 5. I'm not going to keep y'all long tonight. As y'all can hear, I'm very hoarse. Like I told y'all before, man, I had a rough weekend. All right. All for the glory of the Most High power, though, right? In the name of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Ezekiel 3, we're going to start at verse 1.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 1.
Read.
Moreover, he said unto me, son of man.
So he's saying unto Ezekiel, moreover, he said unto me, son of man. Read. Read.
Eat that thou findest.
So, go ahead.
Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel.
So he's telling Ezekiel to go and eat the word of the Most High power. He said, eat this roll and go and speak until who?
Israel.
Who?
Israel.
So he says, eat this roll and go and speak unto Israel. Read.
Verse 2. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll.
So he calls them to eat that roll. He calls them to eat this scroll, this roll, right? Read.
And he said unto me, son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with the roll that I gave thee.
Come on.
Then did I eat it?
Then I what?
Then I eat it.
Come on.
And it was in the mouth as honey and sweetness.
Come on.
And he said unto me, son of man, go get thee into the house of Israel.
Unto the who?
House of Israel.
Come on.
And speak my word unto them.
Come on.
For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and a
hard language.
and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel.
So he told Ezekiel to eat this roll, eat this word, eat it. And after you eat it, go and speak unto the children of Israel. All right. And then he let it be clear. In verse 4, and he said, Son of man, get thee into the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them. Verse 5.
For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech.
So what?
A strange speech.
So you're not sent to no strangers. Read.
And of a hard language.
Come on.
But to the house of Israel.
To the house of Israel. So we see that the word of our most high power was telling Ezekiel to eat this word. I'm going to give you another one. Go to Psalms 119. Y'all know I love Psalms 119. Go to Psalms 119. And we're going to go to 119. I'm going on the hip from here. Something I remember. Now, I'm going to tell you when we get to it. Start at verse 100. Salakia, Mataziala, can you give me Psalms 19 and 7? Go ahead, young man Steve.
The book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 100.
Come on.
I understand more than
the ancient.
Because I kept thy precepts.
Because I kept thy precepts. Read.
I have refrained my feet from every evil way that I may keep thy word.
Come on.
I have not departed from these judgments, for thou hast taught me how sweet are thy words until my taste.
Read that again.
How sweet are thy words until my taste.
So how sweet are thy words unto my taste. So the word of the Most High was sweet to him. Go ahead.
Yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth.
So it was sweeter than honey in my mouth. Read.
Through my precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way.
No, I like every false way.
Hate every false way.
I kind of like, I'm like lukewarm.
Hate every false way.
So any other way is a false way. So whatever the Most High word says, that's what his word means. That's what he said. That's what it is. Go ahead, read. Give me Psalms, what I say, Psalms.
Book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 7.
Read.
The law of the Lord is perfect.
The law of the Lord is perfect. This is what Adam received. This is what Adam gave his wife, Eve. And guess what? She was beguiled. She was given something different. She was given something that wasn't a precept. Read.
Converting the soul.
Converting what?
Converting the soul.
Come on.
The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
Come on.
The statutes of the Lord are right.
Come on.
Rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes.
Come on.
The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever.
Come on.
The judgments of the Lord are true.
Come on.
And righteous altogether.
Read. Here we go.
More to be desired are they than gold.
This law is more desired than gold. This is how you got to stand and you got to fight. It doesn't matter what the enemy is bringing up on you. You have to fight. You have to look past anything that's outside of the Most High's law. If it's outside of his laws, his statutes, and his commandments, you have to not hearken unto that. Read that again, verse 10.
Verse 10. and much fine gold.
Come on.
Sweeter also than honey
Come on.
and the honeycomb.
It is sweet. That law is sweet. And this is how we need to be. We need to be prepared to eat it and always eat it and eat nothing else. Because once you eat something else, then you're going outside of the Most High's laws, statutes, and his commandments, right? Give me Wisdom of Solomon. Let's get right to it. Let's see what was going on. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 27. Let me get there. So let's take a look at what was going on with Eve. What did Eve eat? What did Eve eat? This is the reason why they took the Apocryphers. This is another reason why they took the Apocryphers out of the Bible. Because they wanted to tell you that she ate an apple. She ate some grapes. No, she didn't eat no apples. She didn't eat no grapes. She took from another nation. And just like young man Steve said earlier, and it was from another nation's culture. And if you're trying to follow another nation's culture, it's going to tear you up inside. And it's supposed to. You're supposed to battle with it. You know why you're supposed to battle with it? Because it's against the Most High God. It's against his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. All right? And it will pursue you and destroy you. It will destroy you. It will destroy your family. It will destroy everybody around you. All right? Give it to me, Psalms, Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 27.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 27.
Read.
For the worship of idols.
The what?
Worship of idols.
The worship of idols. The worship of idols. If you're worshiping anything outside of the Most High power, that's the worship of idols. Read.
Not to be named.
Not to be what?
Named.
Not to be named. Read.
Is the beginning.
Is the what?
The beginning.
It is the beginning. Read.
The cause.
The what?
The cause.
So it's the beginning and the cause. Read.
And the end of all evil.
It is the beginning and the end of all evil. Now give me verse 12.
For the diversity,
Devising.
the devising of idols.
The devising of idols, read.
Was the beginning.
Was the what?
The beginning.
Was the what?
Beginning.
Was the beginning, read.
Of spiritual fornication.
This is what Eve had taken in. Idolatry, spiritual fornication. She saw something that was good for her eyes. She thought it was good. She thought it was good. And she said, oh, that's nice. And it's good for us to take in. That can't really hurt us. Like birthdays, read.
And the invention of them the corruption of life.
It was the corruption of life. This is what corrupted our life. I'm going to give you an example. Now, in the scriptures, we didn't celebrate birthdays, but our people celebrate birthdays now. They celebrate birthdays now. Where do we see birthdays in the scriptures? Anybody? Or raise a hand. Pharaoh was the first. You don't know where the precept at? That's in Genesis. I think that's Genesis 40 and 20. No, Salakia. It's not. It's yeah, it is. It's Genesis 40 and 20. You called it, you pull it, you read it. Give me Genesis 40 and 20, and you give me Isaiah 30, and we're going to start at verse 1. So now, look, just imagine. We in Egypt. We seeing the Egyptians celebrating birthdays. They laughing, they smiling. It looks like it's a good tree. It looks like it's bearing good fruit because everyone is happy. They're giving gifts, all of those things. They're seeing this, right? So when they see this, why wouldn't my ribs say, why can't we do that? I mean, it doesn't look harmful. It doesn't look bad. Look like they're having fun. Look like everyone's having fun, right? But everything that's shiny is not gold. Go ahead. Give it to me, Mataziala.
Book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 20.
Come on.
And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday.
Was whose?
Which was Pharaoh's birthday.
This is the first time we see birthdays appear in the scriptures. Read.
That he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants.
All right. So you could drop that. So we know and see now that Pharaoh celebrated his birthday. He celebrated his birthday. So we don't see Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob celebrating their birthdays, right? This is the first time we see a birthday. So now we come out of Egypt, right? Now this is a tree. Egypt would be a tree because Egypt is another nation. And birthdays would be a fruit from that other nation. Let's see what the Most High has to say about this situation. Read Isaiah 30 and 1.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1.
Come on.
Woe to the rebellious children.
Woe, destruction to the rebellious children. That's what woe means. Destruction to a rebellious people. Read.
Thank the Lord.
Saith the Lord. Come on.
That the counsel, but not of me.
So they take counsel, but not of me. Well, what would be his counsel? His laws, his statutes, and his commandments. When we're dealing with Eve, what would be the counsel? The counsel would be his commandment. Not eat from the trees. Do not eat from other trees. Do not eat from other nations. Read.
And that covered with a covering, but not of my spirit.
So because we would be rebellious and destruction is coming unto us, and we would eat from another nation, now we're covered with their covering. We're covered with their what's right and what's wrong. Everything takes a spin. Everything takes a turn. Read.
That they may add sin to sin.
This is what happens when we eat from other nations, regardless on how good it look, no matter how good it feel, no matter what. We are only doing what? Read it again.
That they may add sin to sin.
We will add sin to sin. We'll be eating from a bad tree, and that bad tree can only bear bad fruit. Read.
Verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt.
We had this. This was the major problem for our people, for our nation. When we came out of Egypt and we were saved by the Most High, we saw that he split the Red Sea and we walked right through it, right? We walked right through it on dry land. After we get on the other side, we get to complaining. We want to do what? Read it again.
That walked down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth.
So we want to go back to Egypt. This is the big complaint. They want to go back to Egypt. Everything was good there. Everything was fine there. Remember, when they were hungry, when they were thirsty, these are the things that they asked for. They wanted to go back to a bad tree. They wanted to go back to a bad nation that can only bear bad fruit. Read.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and the trust in the shadows of Egypt.
So we wanted to walk down into Egypt and have not asked of the Most High's mouth had not gone and taken and followed the counsel of the laws, statutes, and commandments, he says to strengthen themselves. This is what they wanted to do. And right now, today, we want to strengthen ourselves in America's philosophy, in America's doctrine, in America's covering. And we know it's Babylon. Why would you want to listen to anything they saying? Why would you want to follow any of their customs? Why would you want to follow any of their ways? Any of their ways. You would not want to follow any of their ways. You should not want to follow any of their customs. Read.
Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
The strength of Pharaoh will be thy shame. The strength of America will be your shame. It will be your shame. Listen, when Yahweh shall come and retrieve us from this Babylon, trust me, this Egypt, this bondage, trust me, our people are going to be fighting for it. They're going to want to go back. They want to go back to the Statue of Liberty. They want to go back to everything and all the customs of America. That's what they're going to want to do. Read any more on that? Read.
And the trust in the shadows of Egypt.
We're going to trust in the shadows of Egypt, the shadow of bondage. The word Egypt means bondage. Any more on that?
Your confusion.
It's your confusion. I know it looks good. I know it tastes good to you. But guess what? It's bearing bad fruits. Now I want you to shoot down to verse 9.
Verse 9. That this is a rebellious people.
This is a what?
Rebellious people.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, we are rebellious people. This is why it's important for you to get into class. This is the reason why you need to get and find the nearest ISUPK in your city, in your town. You need to get in there. You need to shed yourself of the world. And you need to be reprogrammed in these scriptures, in these laws, these statutes, and these commandments. Read.
Lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
Will not hear what?
The law of the Lord.
That's one thing we would not want to hearken unto, the law of the Lord. We do not want to hearken unto the law, statutes, and the commandments. This is why he calls us a rebellious people. We love Babylon. Read.
Which say to the seers.
Which say to me, which say to the seers. Back then, the seers those were the prophets. Those were the ones that were considered the seers. He would say, what? Read it again.
Which say to the seers.
Come on.
See not.
Say to the seers, see not. Don't see not. Read.
And go to the prophets, prophesy that in 9.
Start over. Read it again.
Which say, see the seers, see not.
Say to the seers, see not. Read.
And
to the prophets.
And prophecy unto us right things. Speak unto us smoothly things. Prophesy deceit.
So this is heavy right here, because this is what we're being said to today. When we on those corners, when we talking to our loved ones, our sons, because I just had my wife would tell you, I had a talk with my son last night. And this is something that it was hard for him to hear. It was hard for him to really take in the fact that what I was saying. But once I broke it all way down to him, he really understood. But this is what we say. We say to the seers, see, to the sayers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Well, the right things would be, thus said the Lord. That's what the right thing would be. But they says, but speak unto us smooth things. So if I give you like, what's that guy that always says good stuff on TV? Esau. He's a minister. He got the real big church, the one that had the money hid in the wall. What's his name? Joel Osteen. He says nothing but good things. That's all he says. He says nothing but good things. And because he says so much good things, that's why he can have what? How much money do you have hidden in the wall? About 600,000, something like that. That's why he can have money just laying around in the wall. Because he has all those people, and all those people are giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. Why? Because he's saying unto them smooth things.
Right.
He's prophesying in deceit. Read.
Verse 11. Get you out of the way.
This is what they want us to do. They want us to get out of the way. Read.
Turn aside out of the path.
Turn away from the righteous path. Read.
Because the Holy One of Israel to decree from before us.
So he's saying, and cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from being before us. Because this would have happened. This what would happen. Think about it. When Eve ate that fruit, which is idolatry, which was spiritual fornication, when she ate whatever it was, it could have been a birthday, it could have been a number of things. I really believe this is why the scripture says he do not name it, because if he would have named it, then we would have had a doctrine on that, and people would have just saying be targeting that. Like for instance, if let's say it was a birthday, right? They'll say, no, that's just talking about birthdays. That's not talking about Christmas. That's not talking about Easter. So this is why the scripture says in Hosea 14:27, it says, for the worship of idols not to be named, not to be named. Because you know our people want to worship anything. Anything that looks good and shiny to us. If the cup is shiny on the outside, oh, we want it. Oh, I'm drinking out that cup. I love it. All right. So this is what Eve had ate. Eve had eaten from a tree that bared bad fruits. She took from a nation that was not the nation that she was to give birth to, which came from the Most High's laws, his statutes, and his commandments. All right.
All right.
Now, this is something that we fell into later. Give me Jeremiah chapter 3. Jeremiah chapter 3. You can start at verse 6.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 6.
Come on.
The Lord said unto me, in the day of Joseph the king, have thou
The king Josiah.
Josiah the king has seen that which backsliding Israel has done. She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree.
Under what?
Every green tree.
Under every green tree. Go ahead.
And there have played the harlot.
That is such a heavy scripture. Because remember, Eve ate from a tree. And when she ate from that tree, she ate from a nation. So here it's saying Jeremiah 3:6, and the Lord said unto me, in the day of Josiah the king, has thou seen that which backsliding Israel had done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there had played the harlot. Go ahead.
So she's saying, like, once she started diving into every nation custom, she just went wild out.
Just wilding out under every green tree. Worse than Eve. Eve ate from one. They eating from a whole lot of them. Every green tree, you name it, they taking it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I like what that nation doing. I like what that nation doing. Oh, y'all strip. I like what that nation doing. Anything that the nations was doing, that's what we were doing under every green tree. We was wilding out, just wilding out. Go ahead.
That was like sweet and honey to her.
It was sweet and honey to her. It's just like when Eve said it was, matter of fact, let's go to it. Go back to Genesis. Go back to Genesis 3. That bad tree to Eve looked like this. Verse 6. Read verse 6.
Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 6.
Come on.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food,
Meaning she saw the tree was good. I could do that. That's what I could, whatever it was, I could do that. Go ahead.
and that it was pleasant to the eye,
It looked really good to her. Go ahead.
and the tree to be desired to make one wise.
That whatever it was, she said, it's going to make me smarter. It's going to make me grow. It's going to make me prosper. Like the prosper, what is it? A prosperity ministry. So that's what it was. It's the same thing. She saw that it was good. She saw that it was pleasant. All right. And it was a tree to be desired to make one wise. Go ahead.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat,
Uh-huh.
and gave unto, and also gave unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
So he gave it to Adam too. So Adam did it too. Whatever it was, like I said, and I'm only giving it as an example. Birthday. I'm using an example as a birthday. She would go back and say, listen, they having fun. There's nothing wrong with it. And then he'll say, okay, let's do it. And then once he did it, verse 7.
And the eyes of them both were open.
Now that then their eyes were both open. Their eyes were both open. At that moment, notice it doesn't say when she did it, but it says when her head did it, it was a wrap. Because now the house is out of order. You got me? The house is out of order. And we did this. I'm going to give you another example. Go to 1 Kings 14. Now, in 1 Kings 14, this is when the 12, when we were broken into two kingdoms. I did teachings on this. Y'all should understand this. If y'all don't, we have classes online where you can go back and look at how we broke into two. This talks about when we broke into two. But when you go down to verse 21, it talks about Rehoboam, which is the son of Solomon. Look what it says. Read. 1 Kings 14 and 21.
First Kings chapter 1, verse 20, verse 21.
Salakia, 1 Kings 14 and 21.
14 and 21.
Read.
And Rehoboam, the son of
Solomon.
resigned in Judah.
He reigned in Judah. So Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, reigned in Judah. Go ahead.
Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign.
So he was 41 years old when he began to reign. Go ahead.
And he resigned 17 years in Jerusalem.
So he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem. Come on.
The city which the Lord did choose out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naomi.
Go ahead.
Is that right there?
Is Naamah.
Naamah and
Ammonitis. So he was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned for 17 years in Jerusalem, right? So now this is right after the fall. This is right at the split. Right at the split. Look at verse 22. Read.
Verse 22. And Judah did evil in the sight of the Lord.
So at this point now Judah is doing evil in the sight of the Most High God. Go ahead.
And they provoked him to jealousy.
They provoked the Most High to jealousy. Come on.
Which, with their sin.
With their what?
With their sin.
Come on.
Which they have committed.
Come on.
Above all that their fathers had done.
Come on. So they were doing worse than what their fathers had done. Come on.
Verse 23.
Come on.
For they also built them
high places,
and images, and growth on every high hill and under every green tree.
And under every green tree, just like Eve did. But now, once again, Judah is wilding out, and they doing the same thing. Now it's under every green tree. Every green tree. Why are we bringing this out? Because we're showing you that the trees in the garden represented nations, and they bared fruits, and those fruits that they bared was evil. It was the opposite of thus saith the Lord. It was their laws. It was their statutes. It was their commandments. It was their customs. All right. Now I'm going to give you another example. Give me 2 Kings 16, 1 through 4.
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 16, verse 1.
Come on.
In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Ramaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign.
All right, here we go. Now this is a different king. Go ahead.
20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 17 years in Jerusalem.
Come on.
And did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God.
So here we go again. Did not do what was right, just as Eve did, just like Adam did. They did not what was right in the sight of the Most High Power. Read.
Like David, his father.
Was nothing like David. We know that David did thus said the Lord. The scripture says that David was one after the Most High's own heart. Read.
Right.
Keep going. Read.
Verse 3. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yea, and made his son to pass through the fire.
Go ahead.
According to the abomination of the heathen.
So he was following the abominations of the heathens. He was doing what the other nations were doing. He was following after them and made his son walk through the fire. Read.
Whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel.
Remember, the Most High cast out these nations. He cast out these nations, but he kept those nations around to prove us, to test us, according to Judges 3. If you read Judges 3, it tells you that the Most High left those nations there just to see if we would hearken unto him or hearken unto those other nations. Read.
Verse 4, and he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places.
Come on.
And on the hill.
Come on.
And under every green tree.
And where?
And under every green tree.
And under every green tree, just wilding. Here we go again, wilding. This is what we did, all right? This is what we were doing. And right now, today, that's what we're doing. We eating from every green tree. If you look at Israel right now, we got all kinds of customs. All kinds of customs that has nothing to do with the Most High Power. Absolutely nothing to do with the Most High Power, all right? Now we're going to go to John, because I'm going to give you I got to give you a righteous tree. I got to give you the righteous green tree, all right? We're going to go to Genesis chapter 15. Genesis chapter 15. We're going to start. You got that, young man, Steve? Salakia, no, John chapter 15. Salakia. John 15 and 1. I got to give you a good tree. Before we get up out of here, I got to give you a good tree. If I don't give you a good tree, then I ain't going to be doing my job. Read.
Book of John, chapter 15, verse 1.
Come on.
I am true vine, and my father is my husband.
So he's saying, I am the true vine. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandry, right? Now I want you to shoot down to keep going.
Verse 2. Every branch in me that branches,
That beareth.
not fruit, he's taken away.
So if you ain't bearing good fruit, you taken away. You know why you ain't bearing good fruit? Because you want to follow other customs. You want to follow other traditions. You want to follow other nations' laws. You want to follow other nations' power. So you're going to be taken away. Read.
And every branch that bears fruit, he
purgeth
it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
Come on.
Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
It goes back to the very same thing that he told with Eve. Eve was given a word, and that word was his law, and that word was true, and that word cleansed you. That word is what cleanses you. It is the word of the Most High Power. It is his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. This whole book is considered his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. Come on.
Verse 4.
Abided
in me.
Abided in me. Abided in who? The vine. Read.
And I in you.
And I in you. Come on.
As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself.
Listen, the branches can't bear fruit of itself. You can't do it of yourself. You have to be connected to the vine. And the vine is who? Yahweh Shah. Read.
Except it abide in the vine, no more can ye expect ye abide in me.
All right, so he says, abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear of itself, except it abided in the vine, which is Yahweh Shah. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. So you have to be connected to Yahweh Shah. And what did Yahweh Shah teach? The laws, statutes, and the commandments. Read.
Verse 5. I am the vine.
I am the what?
I am the vine.
Come on.
You are the branches.
You are the branches. You have to be connected to Yahweh Shah. You have to be connected to the vine. You cannot do it of yourself. And you can't rely on no other custom except his customs. And his customs come from his laws, statutes, and his commandments. Read.
He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth more fruit.
It bringeth forth much fruit. So when you go and you're teaching, and you teach the Most High's laws, statutes, and the commandments, you're teaching from a good tree. You're teaching from that vine. You're teaching from that vine, which is Yahweh Shah. And guess what? You bring forth much fruit. That's what you're going to do. When we out in these streets teaching, that's what we're doing. Under the School of Universal Practical Knowledge, that's what's going on. That's why our brotherhood is so great. Our brotherhood is great is because we are connected to the vine. We are connected to the tree. We are connected to the root. Come on.
For without me, ye can do nothing.
You can do what?
Nothing.
You can't do nothing. If you don't abide in the vine, which is Yahweh Shah, right? You cannot do nothing. Nothing. One more. Revelation 5:5. Because now I'm going to make sure that you see that this vine, this tree, it has a root. Oh, it has a root. This is the tree that we must always eat from. If you're eating from any other tree, it is a bad tree. It is corrupt. And if someone is teaching you anything outside of that, that is a wolf dressed in sheep clothing. Revelation 5:5. Mataziala, give it to me. Oh, Salakia. Young man Steve.
Book of Revelation, chapter 5, verse 5.
Come on.
And when the elders said unto me,
So one of the elders said unto me, one of the elders said unto John. John is one of his apostles. And he said unto him, read.
weep not.
Weep not. Go ahead.
Behold,
Come on.
the Lion of the tribe of Judah,
Come on.
the root of David,
The what?
root of David,
Come on.
have prevailed to open the book and to loosen the seventh seal thereof.
This is what we want to be connected to. We want to be connected to that vine. We want to be connected to the root and the offspring of David. That's what we want to be connected to. We don't want to be connected to any other tradition, any other doctrine, any other teaching at all. We must always eat from this tree right here. And this tree is the 12 tribes of Israel, all right, which is the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. All right. Anybody got any questions? Any questions? All right. I'm going to pass the class over. Wait a minute. Let me see anything online. All right. Go ahead.
I have a question, but it's not pertaining to.
All right. I'll attempt to answer it. If I can't answer it, I'll get the answer for you.
Can you, I'm kind of like, iffy about the time frame of when we ruled like Egypt, because I was thinking like, was it after?
You saying we ruled
Like,
Egypt?
you know, like not rule Egypt, like rule like Europe, ours, you know.
Okay, that all right. That would be during the time of the Dark Ages. They call it the Dark Ages because Esau called it the Dark Ages because we were in rulership. All right, a good book to look at on that is Color Has No Guideline or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? What about you? You know what I'm talking about, babe? I'm gonna get that book for you. All right, and it'll kind of lay out that timeline. What's interesting about that is that right there. When you see that and get that in, are you familiar with the Russian icons?
Kind of, sort of, not live.
All right, during the time of King James, Charles Stuart, the Stuarts, the word Stuart means black. We were the kings during that time and that reign. All right. Esau came back into power. You'll find that in Malachi 4. So like, let me see. Be sure when I say that right. Go ahead, I'm listening.
So is once we got
Malachi 1, Salakia.
so my time frame is once we and I'm thinking about it is once we got Egypt and we wandered into Africa, and then we got sold into slave ships.
Mm-hmm.
After that, that's where I don't know the time period.
Okay, all right. So yeah, you kind of off right there. All right. What took place was when we went into during the timeline of us going into captivity, that that started in 1492. The transatlantic slave trade actually started in 1492. But prior to that, we migrated from what we would call today Northeast Africa, which is the Middle East. All right. But when we dispersed everywhere. We dispersed up in Europe. We dispersed up down in Africa. So once we dispersed, then we started becoming great like we do now. See how we doing great things here, even under the oppression that we're under right now. We started to do great things there, and that's what rose us up in these high status, like kings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I got a good book for you that help you out with that timeline. Go ahead.
Is that book called Nature Knows No Color Line?
That's it. Nature Knows No Color Line. That's a real good book right there. Real good book. I know you got Babylon and Timbuktu, right? Yeah. But Nature Has No Color Line is a real good book that can really give you a lot of good and rich information on when we were ruling in Europe. You can see all the crest and all that. You can see everything. All right. All right. Anything else? Go ahead.
Good. I was into Jeremy Hunter. He was talking about when we would come back in power, and the other nations will serve us for 1,000 years.
Right.
After that 1,000 years, they will go back to their own land, or they will just die off.
They will go back to their own land. They'll go back in they will be within their borders. They will be within their borders. But if we find out they doing something they don't supposed to be doing, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. We're going to put them in check. We're going to put them in check. And it's interesting that you say that, babe. That's what I was talking to. I was talking to my son last night about that. That's what we was talking about. And it kind of like helped him better see the prophecy a little bit better. The prophecy was a little blurry to him before, but once I was able to give him all of that information like that and let him know that the other nations will be going back into their own land when they once that 1,000 years is over, he was able to see it a little better. And that's something. Matter of fact, maybe I'll do a class on that next time. All right. Go ahead. Deuteronomy 28 what?
That's where it started.
Okay.
The blessings that are bestowed upon us and are we still want to receive those blessings that we come back into the land?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the time that we did enjoy those blessings for about 80 years under King David and during the time of Solomon. But then Solomon started tripping, and then we got broken into two kingdoms. So it was a time when we was doing that and we was being and receiving those blessings. You know what I'm saying? Just like right now, if we start following those laws, those statutes, and those commandments, blessings will come up on us because he promised us that. All right? He promised us that. And that's what we do here in the School of Universal Practical Knowledge. That's what we teach. Go ahead.
So those promises still stand.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though we went into captivity and everything.
Oh, what, like right now? No, not right now. Right now, we tripping. Because, okay, put it this way. I think there's a better way to understand it. When we went into captivity, right? Everybody wasn't transgressing the law. But did everybody go under that judgment? We all went under captivity. This is something that I always try to teach people, especially Christians. We're not in this alone. This is not an individual thing. This is a family thing. This is a nation thing. We together in this. Together we stand, divided we fall. The scripture says, gather thyself together, O nation not desired. So I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for you. We're fighting for each other. And this is why we go out in the streets and we teaching our people and trying to gather our people back together so when Yahushua come, things will be put back into order. It'll be restored back like the Most High meant for it to be. During the time of Adam, that's what it was meant to be. But because Adam fell, because Adam dropped his sword, this is what happened. All right. So now I'm going to pass the class over to Officer Mataziala. Any more questions? All right, we're going to pass the class over to Officer Mataziala.
All right, should be case security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, They are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the head. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrew, Ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest funds, free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory. It's whatever amount you like to donate. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Passover, April 15th in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Give the Lord a hand. The Lord's 53rd annual Passover. And look, come on out, man, and enjoy this time. We're going to have a time to rededicate ourselves to the Most High on the beach, like with Commander During Yohana. And we're going to be having we got an array of events, itinerary, black party. We got Hebrew Academy trials. We got all sorts of things. I got a fishing trip and a fish fry. So, like, come on out, man. That whole week is going to be glorious. We're going to invade Cocoa Beach, Florida, with the glory of the Lord down there. All right. And the 16th is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So it means before you travel to go to Florida, if you've made travel arrangements, you are to make sure that before you leave, all leaven is out your house. No bread, no cocoa, no
Baking
soda, nothing that has leavening agents in it should be in your house, because when you come back, you will be in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right. So make sure you prepare properly. And like I said, on April 16th, that's on a Saturday, in Cocoa Beach, Florida, we will be having the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Listen, if you missed last year, it was the lamb, I'm telling you, on Passover was absolutely delicious. It's like something you've never tasted before in your life. Like, come on out, man, and enjoy this good family vibe that we have here in the ISUPK. The Commander in Yohana ordered everybody to come back home, man. Come back home. Set your pride aside and come on back home to the Lord, yo. All right. Now, and any other announcements? No, that's all right. That's what else? That was it. All right. And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf, like the brother Steve. And with that being said, men of Israel, Amajim, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Barak, Yahweh Sorrows means to turn to sisters of Amajim, which means to stand. Men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shemar Al-Kam Ba'Hashem Yahushua. Yahweh Matah, class dismissed.